folks, this might be a good opportunity to introduce you to the concept of the Grand Staircase. Do you recall in our talk with Canyon Tim Geology that he said above the top level of the Grand Canyon area were many other layers above, all of which had been eroded away at the Grand Canyon, but he said north of there those layers still exist. So what I've done for you here is shown you a version of a map that if we get lucky and you get your glossy brochures at Bryce Canyon National Park, you'll have. But let me get you oriented. So we're looking left to right, south to north. Okay, south to north. So here's the Grand Canyon, and it's schematically showing you all these different layers of deposition of sedimentary rock over the millennia, right? So here's the Grand Canyon, the south rim. Here's the north rim, the Kaibab Plateau. Here's the Paria Plateau. If you remember, the creek that came down to Lee's Ferry, where we were, was the Paria River. We actually crossed it back about 20 minutes ago. And this is the start of the Grand Canyon. From the Grand Canyon, from where we were yesterday, for those of you who went to Lee's Ferry, I pointed out the Vermilion Cliffs. So imagine the Kaibab Plateau Grand Canyon is the top layer of the Grand Canyon, and in the past, on top of that, you had the Vermilion Cliffs, well, chocolate cliffs, vermilion cliffs, white cliffs, gray cliffs, pink cliffs, 5 more layers. They eroded away completely at the Grand Canyon, but as we progress north, we're going to stair-step over these various cliffs until we get to the top at Pansangund Plateau. That's Bryce Canyon National Park, the tallest or the highest of those staircases. Now, the name Grand Staircase, to reflect this this cliff accumulation, was actually coined by John Wesley Powell. So that came from him. And about, I think it was in President Clinton's administration, he invoked the Antiquities Act to set aside federal lands in Utah for the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument. So Escalante actually refers to one of the 2 Spanish priests who were tasked with finding an overland route from Santa Fe, New Mexico to California. Now, they never made it, they got lost, but their legacy lives on, well, at least Padre Escalante, as part of the name of Grand Staircase. So, this wilderness area that's set aside to our right and for several hundred square miles, Grand Staircase Escalante, as I said, is a national monument. Let me go just a quick distinction between a national park and a national monument. The first national park was an act of Congress, 1872, setting aside Yellowstone under federal management from federal lands. A specific charter was given, financing for that particular park. And over the next 150 years, as additional parks have been added to the system, each one has required an act of Congress to be signed by the president. In the case of a national monument, since Theodore Roosevelt signed the Antiquities Act in the early 20th century, by a stroke of a pen, a president may set aside federal lands for a different level of protection as a national monument. No, so the National Park Service is under the Department of Interior, and the national monuments are Park Service, Bureau of Land Management, sort of a co-op, because they don't have the same level of environmental and cultural protection, but they often are a step up to becoming national park status. So quite a few of our national parks in the last 40, 50 years were previously national monuments. So here we have this national monument to the north, and we are going to go to the visitor center, frankly, primarily to use their facilities. But in the few minutes we're there, if you do want to explore a little bit further the scope of the national monument, feel free to do so. On our Wonders of the American West journey that Inside Vacations has, it's a 9-night, 10-day trip. Starts in Las Vegas, ends in Las Vegas. We traverse the National Monument through another one of the most beautiful scenic byways in the United States. So our guests have an opportunity to actually get immersed in the monument, whereas this journey kind of bypasses it. So, going back to the staircase, they're basically defined by their color. Okay, so as you look to the far right, see that far right, yes, great distance. Okay, that could well be, my sense of scale sometimes isn't so great, but it's at least the top of the White Cliffs, if not the Gray Cliffs. So you can see that notion of stepping up as one moves north. It turns out, if you see Bryce Canyon overlooks the Pink Cliffs, where's Zion Canyon? Off here to the west. It's more focused on the Gray Cliffs, and the formations in Zion are completely different from what we're going to experience at Bryce. Two completely different geological processes in terms of the formation of the wonders that we're going to see. In the case of Bryce Canyon, it's a bit of a misnomer. It's not truly a canyon. It was not carved by a river the way the Grand Canyon was. So it's been called a canyon because we're on one plateau and there's a plateau to the east, but the distance in between and the final product of Bryce Canyon is not a result of a river, but it is a result of water. Now, I know Candy talked about it yesterday. I don't know about the Scooter, but water is the only chemical that when it changes from a liquid to a solid state gets bigger. Every other compound, every other one, goes from gas, condensed to a liquid, condensed even more to a solid. So it's that unique character of water which is key for erosion at high altitudes. Over half the nights at Bryce Canyon experience freezing temperatures. And when there's water in the soil from rain or snow, that water expands when it freezes and it acts like a chisel, if you will, breaking apart rock. It's hard to imagine that water can act with such force, but it's working on a very small scale, but ultimately leading to quite large consequences. So that's all right. The key element in terms of what's going on at Bryce is water, but in the form of ice. Not so much wind, not so much rain. So we'll talk more about that when we get there. All right, another few minutes of a break and then we'll get to our comfort stop.
You don't have to go into details. No. Are the girls
We've been talking on and off chatting.